And how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. Today I wanted to talk about the release date of Starfield. Every once in a while here on the channel I'll revisit that speculation station when it comes to Starfield's release date. I'll usually do a video like this whenever ZeniMax updates that Starfield trademark, giving us more confirmed information in which we can formulate a release window for the game. However, today is a bit of a unique situation based partially on confirmed information as well as a bit of speculation. With all of this in mind, today's video revolves around Sony's recent PS5 announcement. A few days ago on October 8th, Sony announced that the PS5 is indeed coming next year around the holiday season, so basically sometime between October and December of 2020. They also announced some specs as well as a few other things. I might cover all of that in a future video, but the information is easy enough to find if you wanted to dig into any more details about the PS5. Today we're going to be focusing on Starfield's release date, but by now you must be wondering how all of this ties into Starfield's release date. Well, it all starts last year, right after E3 2018. In a post-E3 2018 interview, Eurogamer interviewed Todd Howard. They talked about a few interesting things, including Starfield. When asked about whether there was any chance that Starfield would be cross-gen, meaning both on the PS5 and the Xbox whatever, as well as current-gen systems, Todd Howard responded by saying, "We're pushing it. We're thinking very, very far in the future, so we're building something that'll handle next-generation hardware. That's what we're building on right now. That's where our mind is, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't exist on the current systems as well." It is very clear that Todd Howard is saying next-gen is their target for Starfield. If they can somehow scale the game down enough to get it to also run on the current-gen hardware, then Bethesda may consider doing that, but it's not on their mind at the moment, like, at all. Right now, Bethesda is entirely focusing on next-gen technology for Starfield. And by the way that Todd Howard actually worded his response to Eurogamer in that interview, it seems like not only is Bethesda focusing on a next-gen only release for Starfield, it seems like they're actually trying to push next-gen hardware as much as they can, in order to squeeze as much performance out of the hardware as possible. While this at first may sound like a good thing, given Bethesda's recent track record of not testing a game enough before release, I can't help but worry a little bit that pushing new untested hardware immediately to its limits could potentially lead to a lot of the Bethesda bugs and glitches that we all know too well, at least right at the game's launch. If this is the case, all we can do is hope that the pros of pushing next-gen hardware to the max far outweigh the cons of all the glitches they bring. Hopefully Bethesda would be able to patch most of these issues before the community this time, but let's not focus on the potential negatives here, especially this early in the Starfield season. What we know as of right now is that Bethesda is planning to release Starfield for only next-gen hardware and that they are pushing this hardware as far as it can go, meaning Starfield could potentially be amazing. Meaning the game has great potential to be a massive success, something Bethesda Game Studios really needs right now in the single-player RPG ballpark. And Bethesda has been working on this game for a long time, about a year or two before Fallout 4 was even released. So with a game that has such massive potential to be successful, that also happened to be in development for about 4 to 6 years, you'd think Bethesda would want to capitalize on that potential success with Starfield as much as possible. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, would be to have Starfield be a launch title for the next-gen consoles, that PS5 and that Xbox whatever. Launch titles usually do pretty well, especially if they happen to launch right alongside a new generation of gaming hardware. I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda had some special edition Starfield-themed consoles you could pre-order as well eventually. It just makes sense if you think about it, and I highly expect Bethesda to actually do this. I've always said that the release date window for Starfield is tied directly to when next-gen launches, and with Sony recently confirming that next-gen is coming to the holiday season of 2020, that in turn, in my opinion, tells us the release date of Starfield as well. Also, a little bit of supporting evidence before we end the video is something that I have covered numerous times in previous videos here on the channel, but I'll go ahead and mention it really quick again right now since it pertains to the rest of this video's information. Using the trademark filings for Starfield by ZeniMax, we can estimate an accurate release date window for Starfield. This information is based upon the legal requirements made by the United States Patent and Trademark Office, so it is pretty legit and basically in confirmable territory. It would take me a few to actually go into complete and full detail about how all of this works, but the TLDR is that Bethesda has about 2 years to release Starfield, otherwise the USPTO will void and cancel the Starfield trademark completely, costing ZeniMax a lot of time and money. ZeniMax obviously wants to avoid this, so they have to release Starfield within this 2 years window to prove to the USPTO that they have a product on the market related to the Starfield trademarks. Having this system in place prevents companies from just basically owning trademarks just for the name, otherwise they would could just potentially own trademarks to sell names to other companies that want to have products related to that name. Basically, if you want to have a product and you file a trademark for it, you have a set amount of time to actually have that product on the market, otherwise you lose the rights to that product name. ZeniMax and thus Bethesda Game Studios have 6 months from August of 2019 to release Starfield, with 5 additional 6-month extensions after that. If they fail to release the game in this window, then like I said, the trademark gets abandoned completely, meaning ZeniMax would have to start all over filing the trademark for the game, which could potentially set the release date window for the game to be pushed back a bit based entirely on these legal things related to the trademark filings. So with all this in mind, even if Starfield wasn't a PS5 launch title, we'd have to get it within a couple years one way or another. But here is what I actually think is going to happen in regards to Starfield. We'll be in that all familiar void of information and announcements from Bethesda from now until a few weeks before E3 2020. We won't get like anything, but then all of a sudden, a few weeks before E3 2020, Bethesda will release an E3 teaser like they always do a few weeks before the showcase. Only this time, this teaser will be themed around Starfield. Starfield will then be the main showcase of BE3 2020 and will get a massive 30-minute presentation introducing us to the world, the game's story, and some gameplay. The release date will then also be announced, and it'll be November 11th, 2020 as a launch title for the next generation of gaming hardware, and we will all collectively lose our damn minds. But that's just a theory, a Bethesda game theory. But remember, even though this information is based upon confirmed stuff, there is still a bit of speculation mixed into all of this, so take this with a grain of salt. And as always, I want to know what you think about all of this. Do you think that Starfield will be a launch title for that PS5 and that Xbox or whatever, or do you think Bethesda will make us wait until 2021? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below, and if your comment wins the internet and make it featured in a future video. Be sure to like this video if you enjoy the content, and subscribe and turn notifications on if you want to stay in the know when it comes to the latest and the greatest gaming news. Follow me over on Twitter for the latest channel updates. Come over to the community Discord chat server where there is always some awesome conversation and speculation taking place. Be sure to check out the official Skullzi merch site over on Loot Drop, and if you want to have your hand in providing future content and getting access to unique and awesome awards, then consider subscribing to the community over on Patreon or join the channel here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all of these awesome things are down in that description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when that gigantic skooma squirrel makes an unexpected return to stop the bees from assuming direct control.
It just works.